Good morning, retail traders. I'm Washboardjim with a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And I have my red tie on this week. That means be cautious. We got a lot of good earnings coming out this week, and I think it'll be the banks did very well so far. Earnings have been great in the market. They really have. They've been outstanding. And I think the same thing's going to happen this week. There's going to be a couple hiccups, and we're going to go walk through the watch list and talk about it. This is my watch list right here. I have it already. I put it up on X account, which used to be Twitter. If you'd like to go ahead and find that link, it's down in the content. Subscribe. I'm posting alerts in there. Plus, I'm live on YouTube every day. And also, I have a Discord room where we have a small group in there that likes to talk stocks and a little bit of politics. So we got SOFI, AT&T, Boeing, JetBlue, RCL, General Motors, Starbucks, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, IBM, LEVI, UPS, MasterCard, NOK, CAT, Comcast, Apple, Intel, Verizon, XOM CVX, and PSX. And we're going to go ahead and go through the watch list here with the volumes high going first. Then we're going to look for any kind of pullbacks that we had last week. And we'll be able to tell it on the charts that I'm going to be pulling up, and I'll tell you if they're good buys or not. So let's get right in it. We got SOFI, AT&T. We even got Bank of Hawaii on here. It's probably down a little bit. Tuesday or Monday evening, not much going on. And then we've got Boeing Tuesday morning, General Motors Tuesday morning. We got RCL on here also, might be a good one to watch. JetBlue, Cisco, Starbucks on Tuesday evening, Starbucks. Not much going on there, I don't see. Wednesday morning, not much going on. Then we got Wednesday evening where we have Meta, Microsoft, IBM. Those are all going to be hot ones to watch. And LEVI, heard they've been doing pretty good. UPS Thursday morning with MasterCard, NOK, Caterpillar, Comcast, some real good ones. Thursday evening, we got Intel. And then on Friday, before open, we got XOM, Chevron. Phillips 66 is on here too. So the oil's coming up on Friday. Let's go ahead and go through the watch list right now. We'll start with Intel. It was the big volume winner last week. I've got the 20-day up here. We did pull back to a support level of the 200 SMA. So if that holds, we'll go back up to 2153 and try to break that resistance. If not, we could pull back and hit my solid support at 1933. Now we do have an inverse head and shoulders right here, and that could be a nice little trade right there. Let me see. And that brings it down more or less to 1950. So keep that $20 level on watch. Right around 20 bucks. And that's going to be Intel. I think Intel could hold that support at the 200 or pull back and hit the 20 and find some kind of support down here off this inverse head and shoulders. Tesla, one of the most talked about stocks on Wall Street right now. Fat cats don't like Elon. I love Elon. I'm going to say support this week to hold to stay bullish is right around 392. And I'm going to set me alert right there, with resistance to break at 420. And there's, I love Elon. I love what he does. I think he's the best out there, the best CEO of all. But Wall Street has a different opinion about him. You know, he's a little bit too out there, which I like a good CEO that's out there. And plus, he does a lot of good. So, and then we got SOFI. SOFI's been on tear. It's definitely run up from the bottom. We had a double top last week. This thing can pull back to a triple bottom and form this flag around 1750. If not, we'll find support down here off the 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. Apple's going to be coming up. Apple's had problems in China. It's no longer the #1 selling phone in China, which I can understand. They're kind of expensive. But if they can bring the price down, I think they can sell a lot more phones. For right now, the solid support to hold is going to be right around 220. And resistance to break is going to be that 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. Then we got AT&T. This one here has had an awful good run here too in a week and a half, 2 weeks. Resistance level on AT&T is right around 2320. We'll draw a little trend line to show you what I'm looking at. It's called overhead resistance. Right around 2320. That should be your solid resistance to break. Support again is going to be the 200 SMA down here, right about at 2217. That'd be a triple bottom off the 200 SMA to stay bullish. That'll run back up and try to break resistance at 2273. So 2320 long, pull back 2216 to stay bullish off the triple bottom. In OK, it's been kind of an up and down kind of trade. It has a lot of volatility. For right now, support level is going to be the triple bottom at 440. If that doesn't hold, then we're going to go down more. Now the resistance to break will definitely be the 200 on the 1 hour time frame. I see a good triple-headed snake. We got that touch right there. We have a gap right in here. We have a lot of gaps. I mean, this is a big volatile stock, so we got to be a little careful with it. I think it'll be a stronger buy at 440. Meta's in the news. Congratulations, Zuck, on your stop on censorship and telling the truth about our federal government. Resistance to break. We had a nice little breakout last week. 649.87. Again, support to hold is going to be that 200 SMA. It can show some volatility. We've had a great run already from the bottom down here at 590, $50 all the way up to 650. About $60 gain in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I think it might consolidate. If it does break out of 650, then we are going to go higher to around 660. If not, we'll pull back and find support somewhere around 621 to stay bullish or hit that 200 SMA. Comcast, one that I don't follow much. I don't really get off on the stock itself. We've had a pretty good pullback on this, so it could run back up. Now, these old trend lines are old, so I'm thinking right around, $39.68 to $40 is going to be resistance zone, with support, again, to hold right around $36.25 for a strong buy. Microsoft, another one that's had a great breakout here in the last couple of weeks. I called this setup here, and we had a nice bounce off of it. I'm going to still call the 200 SMA on these trades, right around the 431 area, or maybe a little bit lower, right around 427.86. With resistance to break will be the previous high that we did on Friday morning, right around 447, up to a triple top, right around 455. Microsoft is one that likes to jump up and down and are great buys if you can find the bottom. I found the bottom here a couple weeks ago, and we did bounce back up. So this game can pull back find support at 431 this week, $10, $12 dip, and then run back up. Or it breaks resistance at 447. Oil, XOM. Oil don't do as good as it does when the Democrats are in office, because the Democrats have a war on oil. I think it's a great company. I really do. As long as we hold that 104.84, we're still bullish. If not, we'll drop on down to 103, 101, and resistance to break this coming week. If we do decide to break out, we'll be right around 116.48 off earnings. JetBlue, airlines have been doing very well. Airlines are, but I think some of them are a little bit too hot right now. Had too big of a run, like UAL, and I just think it had too big of a run. So we could get a nice little pullback off this here, and right around 730, and be a strong buy and run it back up to resistance level of a triple top, right around 823. At 823 is a triple top, so if it breaks, we will go higher. We could see $10 on this trade. Boeing, it's one of the most controversial. It's getting pumped. I mean, the fat cats want to pump. They want to buy it while it's cheap and run it up. It's cheap, but it's also a controversial stock right now. It has a big backlog, and I'm not sure if they got rid of woke yet, but once they get rid of woke, this stock should start to run. That's why they're having so much problems, is they're not. Safety's not the main concern with this company. It never has been. Ever since they had that plane crash about 7-8 years ago, it's done nothing but been a failure in my book. It used to be a market indicator. People really loved it, but once they've gone woke, they're just FUC blank. So a lot of people, a lot of fat cats want to get in and watch this stock every day. So any kind of dip is a strong buy. For right now, I'm not very bullish on the stock, but if I was to hold something long, I would probably go ahead and buy a small position and then run it up. Strong support, low support, 161.67. Strong support at 170 off this inverse head and shoulders. We could come back and hit that shoulder line and then run back up for a triple top break at 181.94. Like I said, everybody wants to have Boeing. The fat cats do, but they keep pumping this stock up. But it just keeps getting bad news all the time. I got to go by the facts. They're going by the name. Boeing is a monopoly. They have a big back order. They'll get on their feet again, and it will bounce eventually this 2025. Starbucks, here's another one that I'm not too excited about. I think it's gone too far woke, and they got a new CEO in here now. I think that's the only thing that's pumping this stock up right now is the CEO. I don't know. I don't know why a CEO would want to run this company unless he was in it for the money. And that's probably what he's in it for. He'll get, nice little income just being here. CEO has been awarded, look here, Starbucks' new CEO has been awarded about $96 million. He's only in here for the money. Okay? That's it. He's in here for the money, and he'll probably be done with running businesses. This is a failed company. Coffee's too damn high. They got too many stores. But it's one that's talked about a lot, and Wall Street has a different opinion than I do when it comes to wokeism. This went too woke, too political for a company to be, and not until they address that, which they kind of started addressing it already. They said, a week or two ago that their front parlor is now only due for customers, instead of people just sitting in there and not ordering nothing, and homeless people and stuff like that. I don't know. I just don't like this company at all. I don't drink their coffee. I used to before they got into politics, and now I'm just kind of but resistance to break again. I got to throw away some of my bias right around 101.12. Support to hold 95 if it holds this week. If not, we could drop lower. I'm just not a very big fan of Starbucks, period. General Motors is another one that I'm not a big fan of. I think they get all their free money from the government to help their union boost. But, you know, it's General Motors. It finally started breaking out during the EV sector, and they ain't putting out any EV cars that are worth a crap. So they kind of backed away from that. I'm going to say support right around 49.78. Resistance to break 54.10 to a higher level of right around 56. But I wouldn't think this thing would go to the moon. But that's General Motors. Low support, strong buy, pivot point on the 20-day 190 time frame. 1 hour, 190 days, right around $50 for now. Then we got Visa. Visa's on a breakout. They'll do good. Interest rates are to the roof right now. Trump's trying to get these interest rates down for the middle class and the poor people that are stuck on credit card debt. Support for right now is going to be right around 322.09. We've already had a good breakout into earnings, so I think we could consolidate, maybe find a solid support off of 317, off the 200 SMA, and see if that holds. If not, we'll dive on down to 307. Resistance to break will be the 331.09. IBM, here's another one that I don't trade that much. I used to trade it back in the day when Buffett had it, but it's not been that good of a stock. Let's look at the weekly time frame on this. It has had a breakout. IBM, and we're kind of setting up where it could go ahead and break out to the upside. As long as we hold that 21 at 217.74, we stay bullish. If not, we'll come back down and find support right around 208. Setting the alert at mark below at 208.28 for a strong buy, and run this thing back up and try to find resistance level. Right around 237.41. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, this could hold. This 217.26 could be a strong support. We are in a gap. We're about midway in that gap. So the top of that gap is going to be right around 230.44. That could be a hard resistance to break. That's about a $6 bounce. Keep a good eye on it, but I'm going to keep a good eye on it. It kind of looks a little sexy to me. UPS, definitely been in a downtrend, and we are at the 200 SMA on the daily. So we got to break that resistance at 134.32. I'm going to take this to the hour. Yep. I'll still stick with that 134.32 with a strong buy right around 128.61. RCL, Royal Caribbean, seems like it's pretty high right now. It's had a pretty good run all the way from 167 to 258, almost a $100 lick in 2.5 months. So this thing can pull back and find support right around 218. I'll show you how I found that. Right around 218, maybe right around even this 213 area, 215. Somewhere between 220 and 250, somewhere in this bottom channel. As long as you stay above that 218 something, you'll stay bullish in the trade. right around 219.16, 220 area. I'm going to say 220, maybe just a little bit above it, 221, somewhere in that area. Then we got MA, MasterCard. Here's another one that had a V-shaped recovery. We do have some resistance levels here. Right around 540 with a solid support if it does decide to go ahead and knife off earnings down here at 519, 520 area. I'll be going over this watch list all week long, live on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. PSX, we got Phillips 66. We definitely had a strong pullback on this thing, and we had a kind of like a recovery to the pivot point area and broke that. So right now we're at an inverse head and shoulders. Off this over here, we could hit that 117 and hold and then run back up. That 117, somewhere in that area, with a resistance to break this week at 123.94. We got Caterpillar, another one that's had a real good pullback, 350, and already run up $57 in 2 weeks. We are at a resistance level. This thing could also, if it doesn't hold these moving averages, right around 401 something. If it doesn't hold that 401, we could drop back down and find another support right here at 388. Resistance to break this coming week is going to be at 410 and then double top at 420, 419. So that's going to be a good one to watch. I'll keep a good eye on CAT this week, see if we get a pullback. I think I'd rather trade it on a pullback. Now, you could also set your Fibonacci's up on a trade like this that had such a vertical run on it and find support right around that 388 area for a strong buy, 390, somewhere in that area. So that could still stay bullish and be at 390 and run back up to the top. Then Levi's, my favorite pair of jeans when I was in high school. We used to take the tags and pull off of them. This one had good, I think it maintained a price target of $23. They lowered it to 19, JP Morgan did. Maintains outperform, equal weight. So this is kind of has a mixed messages on earnings. I'm going to say it can pull back to this inverse head and shoulders down here. And be a strong buy right there. So I'll set an alert at 1658. With resistance to break up here at the double top. 1856. Perfect spot. Really a good spot to break if it breaks. If not, we've been in a Darvis box with an inverse head and shoulders. It could definitely pull back to that 1658, 1650 area, and then bounce back up to the 1856. So you'd get a good $2 trade out of this if it did pull back to that inverse head and shoulders. I always say they like to pull back and hit that shoulder one more time before the initial breakout and be something to watch. Well, that's it. That's the sneaky snake trading strategy. Earnings are going to be a lot of fun this week. We got FOMAC coming out on the 31st, so we got to keep an eye on that. I think that could probably cause a little bitty run in before FOMAC comes out. We got a new president now that pays attention to the market. The last one didn't even know what time of the day it was. Couldn't hardly speak, so he didn't have really much communication with the voters, or it was more or less run by bureaucrats. We got a leader now that definitely says what he does and does what he says. And I think that's great for a politician. We're too far in debt. We need to work on that. We need to cut a lot of these government jobs that we can't afford. I mean, a ton of government jobs were created. I heard numbers up to 50,000 a month by this idiot in the White House. And we don't have the money to pay them. We just don't have it. We just don't have it. So let's see how this week goes. I really want to see a good little pullback, but we got a business president now, and it's Wall Street can't stand him because he's going to cut away of all that, all that free money that they're getting, and we're just too far in debt. The last administration spent $14 trillion over budget in 4 years. That was double what Obama did. So I don't know. We'll find out. I say I'm still staying bullish. I'm buying the dips. We do need a little pullback to kind of consolidate the run we've had so far, but earnings have been great. The economy, they say, is great. I don't think so. I just think that we're in a high inflation atmosphere. We're being took advantage of, and that's the way it is. So this is the sneaky snake trading strategy, where I talk about stocks, I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And I wish everybody a great day. And I got to find my little recording device here and turn this thing off. Yabba dabba doo.